It is 12/12/2020, and those numbers represent a time portal. And so what they wanted me to do was to explain a little bit about what's going on. You know, we have the Great Conjunction coming, which is when, I think it's Jupiter and Saturn. Now, I'm not an astrologer, but I listen and pay attention to spiritual teaching, and I know that there's some really powerful energy that is moving through us right now, moving through the earth right now, moving through our galaxy right now, and everything that's happened this year has been for a reason. And I have not come on and done substantial teachings on this because I really wanted to make sure that I would understand what was happening before I came on, because you're gonna get a lot of different interpretations from a lot of different kinds of people on here, and I wanted to make sure that I had a really clear channel before I gave you what Spirit was giving me about what is happening. Okay, so that the Great Conjunction is going to be happening on 12/21, which is predicted or kind of assumed to be a time of a really tremendous energy shift. So what is coming through, what my guides are saying is that what is happening right now in 2020, and as we're going into 2021 and going into this big conjunction this month, is that we are having a shift of time energy, a shift that represents the collective going into a new way of being, okay? They gave me the vision of a newborn baby. We're actually coming out of the womb right now, the womb of oppression, the womb of disempowerment that we've been in for thousands of years, they say. We've been in it and we've agreed as a culture. So we're always co-creating our experiences. What's happening right now has been hi everyone that's coming on. I'm just going to keep flowing in spirit. I'm not going to stop and answer questions, but I usually go back and I'm able to answer any questions, or maybe I'll open it up for questions when I'm done. How about that? So they're likening it to us being born like a newborn baby. So the flip of all the fear that we've all been living in is us to get super excited about this time to be alive that we are in. This is an incredible time to be alive that you actually stood in line for as a spiritual being. Before you came into this earth, you requested to be here at this exact time. There is no coincidence that you are here. Now, right now, I'm also working on a guidebook to spiritual awakening, which is going to be coming out hopefully in about a week. I've hired a new team to create this book, and it's going to walk you through the stages of spiritual awakening and all the kind of things that you experience. But one of the main things that I want you to understand is that you and I are here for a reason right now. There is no mistaking that you are here on this earth plane right now. You chose as a spiritual being before you became a physical being. They're showing me lines of spirits that wanted to come in. It makes me want to weep to come in at this time. And the ones that have come after us, the people that are the young people that are coming in, they're coming in connected at a much higher dimensional way of thinking, dimensional frequency of consciousness. They're much more connected. That's why you're seeing such a difference between the older and the younger mindsets, because they have come in at a higher level of consciousness and they're able to tap in at a little bit quicker rate if and when they choose to rise that higher level of consciousness. You see a lot of spiritual teachers now who are actually like in their teens and 20s and in their early 30s, and so that is just an amazing thing to experience. So those of us now that are tapping in, that are waking up, that are in our own stage of development, it's perfect for us too. I just wanted to point out that difference, and so why so many of these star seeds are coming in to help the planet grow. So each one of us that are here, and if you're here watching and are connected to the like the idea that I'm talking from my guides, I'm talking about higher consciousness, you are here as a star seed. You are here maybe as an indigo child, as a star child, as a diamond child. There's all kinds of names and labels we can put on when you were born, when you came into this level of consciousness as a human being. But you are here to help the planet raise to a new level of consciousness. We are actually coming into a timeline that is busting through this old timeline, which as they called for me, that they, hey you guys, that they said that we are coming out of a blanketing. So the word, sorry, I'm like losing the word that I wanted to share with you guys. Oh, the word apocalypse is actually from the Greek apocalypti, and it actually means lifting of the veil. It actually means an uncovering, the revealing of what the truth is. So that is what we are going through in 2020. We are going through an apocalypse, okay? The one that's predicted in the Bible, and that's been predicted by many prophecies for thousands of years. We are going through the unveiling, the lifting of the veil of the consciousness of the collective experience that we've been having here as humans, where we have been living in a state of illusion, okay? And so what the chances that we have now is to move into a higher frequency, a higher state of consciousness, a higher state of understanding who we are as spiritual beings having human experiences. Now, you may or may not have heard a lot of talk about other dimensional beings, extraterrestrials, whatever words you want to put on them. Yes, they are showing up right now more than ever. There's a lot of them, Palladians, Arcturians. There are ones from other dimensions. Now, you may or may not align with that. I fully 100% believe that there are other beings out there and that we are connecting. I ask in my channeling that they come through. They're here to help us. They're here to be loving lights, okay? If you look out into the galaxy, there are literally billions of, I think it's like 99 billion galaxies out there. Of course there's other life. Of course there is. And so right now they're saying that they're showing they're going to be showing themselves more. So a lot of people that I follow have actually had visitations, have seen a lot more of this. So just so you know, this is what they wanted me to share with you the most. We each have a choice right now to level up or to stay where we are. It's a choice, okay? So what's being called right now is that we level up and that we raise, they want me to actually use a stronger word, that we raise our frequency, raise our choice of vibration to a higher consciousness, because those of you that are starseeds, those of you that are here that are reaching to new levels of higher frequency, if we can band together, like right now, it's 12:12, it's 1:29 here in Atlanta. If you see the clock at 1:11, if you see the clock at 11:11, 3:33, all of these significant numbers that are angel numbers, pause for a minute and know, those of you that are listening around the planet, those of us that see those synchronicities of time, we just pause and have a moment of appreciation, a moment where we hug a tree, a moment where we go into prayer. And it only takes like a minute. Go in and just raise your vibrations at these moments where you're being tapped on the shoulder with the synchronicity of numbers, of time, of numbers on the clock, or anything that shows up for you. So what they're saying to me is that they are giving each and every person on this planet right now an increased number of synchronicities, an increased number of portals of opportunity where you can raise to a new level of consciousness. Because what's happening here is that, so time is linear here on Earth, and in a quantum perspective, my dog wanted to chime in, from a quantum perspective, time is actually not linear. I know this is going to like, for most of you, it blows my freaking mind whenever I go into like trying to understand this. But time is actually happening on a multi-dimensional level in the spiritual realm at higher consciousness all at the same time. We're actually wrapping timelines, and all of your lives are actually happening at once. Okay, so what's happening now is we are getting the opportunity on a daily basis which timeline we are choosing. Okay, so it is not done yet. What's happening, what is the outcome of this is going to be, has not been determined. Okay, you've got a lot of people that are going to predict. So whenever you're hearing a prediction, just so you know, you're hearing a prediction, whether you see it from a psychic, from a medium, from a spiritual clairvoyant, whoever it is, you're getting a prediction based on what the energy of the planet is at the moment of the prediction, okay? It doesn't mean that that is actually going to be what for sure happens. If the energy of the planet stays that way, that is the likely outcome, okay? So very often they hit the nail on the head and things happen. But here's what they want you to know. We have choices, okay? So we can alter the timelines that we're slipping into as we move forward based on our individual choices. And the more of us that make our individual choices to raise up to a higher vibration timeline, I'll talk to you about what that is, the more as a collective we will force the collective to slip into this higher vibrational timeline, okay? So what is the difference between these two timelines? So we have a choice right now, and this is what's happening right now in the next, they're giving me 10 days, so the Great Conjunction is on 12/21, but they're saying through 12/22 because the energy will still be in the air. Saturn and Jupiter, I hope I have those planets right. The Great Conjunction means they're going to be aligning. I think this happened like 600 years ago. They're going to align in the sky, like, and it's going to look like the Star of David from some points on Earth. They're going to look like one bright star, okay? So they're saying that because of this, there is a huge energy that's going to be wrapping around the planet. I don't claim to have a full understanding of what's going to happen, but I will tell you what I'm getting that's going to be possible. If you are tapped in and choose to tap in today on 12/12, we have an eclipse on 12/14. I think that's correct. And then the Grand Conjunction, this is the big day on 12/21, December 21st, okay? If you can choose on these days and all the time in between, whenever you get a nudge to go into a place of higher consciousness, what we're doing is we're affecting the energy consciousness of the planet. And it's measurable on the Schumann's resonance scale. They actually see these spikes whenever we have collective meditations, times where we have these. There are a lot of people out right now when you're going on social media. They're going to be hosting collective meditations, collective times of prayer over the next 2 weeks. So please include yourself in one of those, because it is a measurable spike of consciousness, of energy coming off of the earth that scientists can actually see. We are making a difference. So what they're saying to me is that we are each being given right now We are each being given, I'll give you the exact message. They said, we are sending synchronicities, messages, chance happening, lights in the sky, animal spirits, and new life experiences into the paths of every single person on this planet, which you cannot explain. They say, tell them that this is happening in every moment to give them the chance to raise their vibration to a level of love, appreciation, peace, okay? And recognition that what is happening is for the divine good of the planet, the divine good of you as an individual, you of the collective. They go on to say, but you have the freedom to choose your own path. You're a sovereign being that has the choice over how, where, and when you move in the world. They said, let them know that the universe is orbiting around each of them. Each of you has a universe orbiting around you. You are the center of the universe. And that it is in your sacred journey to rise up and reach a new level of consciousness. And they say, and it's beautiful over here. So you're going to hear a lot of talk, if you're tuning in to other people talking about this, about the new earth, about how this is actually the second coming of Christ. And there's a lot of talk about that people that aren't going to agree to raise to this higher level of consciousness are going to be the ones that the Bible predicts or religious circles predicts are going to be left behind. That the idea of the second coming of Christ was actually a metaphor for the energy of Christ consciousness flowing through us. So those of us that are open to this higher level of consciousness, this Christ consciousness energy flowing through you, this very, Christ, his vibration was up like 1,000, 2,000. Most of us, when you're up around feeling love and appreciation, you're resonating around a 500 or 600. That's why people were able to be healed just in Christ's presence, because his vibration was so high. So right now what he's asking, I can feel his presence so much, so much. He's saying so much of what you've heard was not meant to be told to you, to shame you or put you in fear, to put you at a state where you are paralyzed because you are so afraid of being judged for being good or being bad. There is so much love for you flowing to you. My hand is outstretched to you. When Jesus shows up, the love is so strong. It's like almost impossible to contain. I can't see him. I can just feel him. He's saying it is now the time to lift the veil off of the illusion of the text that was given to you, to lift the veil off of the stories of shame, and I am shaking, of shame and of fear and of lowered consciousness and of fear, and of judgment. It's the oppression that the masses have agreed to, and there has been a reason for that. The reason is now. The reason so you can have a time where you choose to take my hand, to take the hand of the divine, to take the hand of Source God and all the celestial beings that are around you. He says we're not separate. We are all one. There is not division, one religion over the next. He never requested to be the one that has to be the pathway, the conduit, the gateway to God. He says the gateway to God is within you. I am within you. Buddha is within you. Mother Mary is within you. All of these celestial beings are within you. We are one. We are one. He said, that was my message. That is my message. And he said, and with the understanding that we are all one, you are powerful. You are powerful beyond belief. That is what the governments and the structures, and he's saying no shame on the government, because there are many good people in the government, but it is these structures that have believed that there is a separation between you and me, and that somehow you need to lower yourself to worship me, to ask to be loved. You do not have to ask to be loved, and this is the message that must be given to the collective, to the planet. There is no right or wrong judgment. There is only the request that you raise yourself up to the feelings of love and appreciation and let go of these masks of fear that they are literally putting over your face to silence the truth that is coming out. He's saying, in no way am I suggesting or taking a stance on the mass pandemic. I'm using it as a metaphor. He says, you must understand that as I was here on earth, I spoke in metaphor. And many of the metaphorical stories that I gave to my followers at the time, many of those stories, all of those stories, if you will, were turned into literal stories in the text and turned into stories that showed black, white, right, wrong. And he said, it was not meant to be that way. The way that I was giving the messages was to let you know that you can multiply the love inside of you. You can bring healing to your bodies to believe it enough. Do you know how powerful you are? He said, you have Christ energy, this energy that you see as so separate from you. You have my energy flowing through you. not only my energy, but we are one. You have divine collective energy flowing through you from source God. He said that the most powerful, if you knew that you could literally in between your hands create a planet just through the belief that you can, he said, so what I want you to do is practice the energy of healing on yourself and the planet as a whole through your hands. He says, if you imagine it, it is true. If you imagine the energy coming off of your hands onto your own body, it is true. Imagine yourself working healing. You do not need training. He said we're actually moving into a dimensional reality where the training is already going to be coming up within you. If you feel like you are getting training from someone that you respect and is helping you, by all means, keep doing that. He said, but we are getting to a place where you will remember the training that was put inside you at birth, the training that was yours as a celestial being, as we are all one. You know all things. You are just being remembered. So what we're doing right now is we're at a place of remembering, a place of letting go what you have been taught, forgetting the brainwashing, if you will, the illusionary path that you have been led down. Yes, as sheep. My sheep are different. My sheep have sovereignty. He said they are not led and corralled and made and forced to do things outside of their wisdom, because your wisdom will direct you in a divine path that will bring you health, that will keep you immune strong, that will keep you heart strong, that will keep you mind strong. You have the wisdom in you to follow the path within you without anyone telling you. There's some words that I don't know if I want to use. Injecting you, filling you with that which they say is good for your body when you know what is good for your body. You know what is good for your body. And he says, say this with gentleness. Say this with gentleness. You are here for a reason, and you are a sovereign, powerful being. Know that the light of God is inside of you. The source of all that is, inside of billions of galaxies, is inside of you. The choice is here right now for you to raise your vibration. What we are asking you to do, now there's a collective speaking. There are many. What we are asking you to do is lean into the choice to refuse to engage in conversations and experiences that will further cause separation and polarization between you. When there is an argument or a disagreement, there will be many, and they will increase over the next 2 weeks exponentially, especially the next 10 days. You will see a larger split. This does not have to be the case. Again, the choice of which timeline we choose is happening right now. Here's the timeline we are on. This timeline that comes down here is based in the old illusion that we have to suffer, that we have to be in a place of fear, that we have to get sick, that COVID is programmed to kill us. It is not correct. That is an illusion to keep you out of your sovereignty. The numbers that are reported are not far from correct. They are being manipulated. They're being manipulated. They're being manipulated. I'm trying to find the right words because this is a trigger subject. They're being manipulated to control you. They're being manipulated to put the leash around you so that you do not think that you can guide yourself along your own path, to make you think that you need their walking stick, their leash, their guidance. Offer them compassion. Offer those that are saying this compassion, because they have been fooled in an illusion of power, making money, creating fear to suppress the masses, to suppress the collective, so that they lose their own sovereignty, and they've got a lot of people convinced that they cannot make up their own mind. You have an intuition inside of you. That is the voice of God. Whenever you're wanting to make a decision, get out of the monkey mind, drop into your heart, drop into your spirit. You literally have a talking spirit at your core that is always guiding you. You're going to hear messages like mine, like others. If something doesn't feel right to you, then it's not right for you. Whatever feels right to you is right for you. Whatever feels not right to you is not right to you. So trust your own intuition. Trust your own voice. Let me talk about the difference between the timelines. Again, this one's fear, oppression, stay home, separate, argue, polarize, right and wrong, good and bad, one side of the fence, other side of the fence. We can choose that. Or we can choose our own sovereignty. We can choose to trust our own intuition. We can choose to disengage from conversations that are polarizing, which means splitting off of different opinions, polar opposites. We can choose to just say to people, I respect that you have your decision. I love you. I love you and I understand why. There's a reason why people have their belief systems because of the way that they were taught. And some people are we're all having a really hard time right now. They gave me the metaphor at the beginning of this channeling that we are all literally being born, we're like babies being born out of a new womb right now. And what happens when a baby immediately comes out of the mother's birth canal? It's uncomfortable. They're swollen, they're puffy, they're having to learn how to breathe again. And they're saying that is what is happening right now. We are, there's a lot of symptoms of ascension. It's headache. Right now I have extreme ringing in my ears. I actually have a headache that just came on. It's because the energy that is passing through is almost too much to contain, just like a newborn baby coming out of its mom. It takes a little bit for it to learn how to actually breathe on its own, how to actually detach from it's a very vulnerable feeling, how to detach from its mom. So it's for us, it's the womb of illusion that we've been living under, which we thought was a false sense of safety, which we thought was a false sense of being disempowered. We will do whatever you say. Yes, give us a problem, give us a diagnosis, and now give us a drug and a solution and a treatment plan to get us through it. You guys, I'm a trained psychologist, psychotherapist. I used to be licensed. I was trained to diagnose. I was trained to do long-term therapy. I have a PhD in counseling. I no longer diagnose. I know all of it like the back of my hand. I do not believe in diagnosis. Yes, there are some situations where there are chemical imbalances and all that, but my belief system is evolving so much. I do not do it anymore on my own because I think that keeps people stuck. We're moving into a new level of consciousness where all of that can be left behind. Because when you raise your vibration, anything is possible. All of those mental health issues that you've had, anxiety and stress, right now we're all feeling it. We don't have to suffer anymore. We're going to a new level of consciousness, which is 5-dimensional reality. We're coming out of 3-dimensional. Right now at the questioning stage, we're in 4D. As we go in through these portals this month and going into next year, there's going to be another powerful one in January. Going into 5-dimensional consciousness, which means we finally learn to breathe. We finally get to be in a new world where we collectively can continue to raise up our brothers and sisters that are still under the illusion that they somehow have to follow en masse someone else's decision about their life. You make the decision about your life. You make the decision that feels right to you. Wrap yourself in protection. Wrap yourself and your loved ones in white light every single day. You guys, you've got this. You have everything inside of you to stay healthy, to stay strong, to stay clear, to stay connected, and you know what is right for you. Whenever you're making a decision based on fear, that is 3-dimensional consciousness, and that is coming from the other timeline. Take deep breaths. Remind yourself of your sovereignty. I am sovereign. I'm a sacred divine being with the light of God inside of me. Get out of that fear which resides right here and constricts the chest. Take your hands, heal the fear, blow it out of your body. Ask that only those dimensional beings, those spirits, those guides that are of the white light of God be allowed around you. Ask them to work with you and lift the veil of illusion off of you so that you can make a decision that is from the heart, that is from love, not from fear, which is from the tightness, which is from a low vibration. Ask to be led back to that higher vibration. Ask to be shown what the light of God through you would like for your higher good. Ask for your higher self to speak through you to make the choices that are always for your highest good. Okay, you guys. I'm going to go off. That was a lot. I know it came tumbling out. I'm going to be doing more of this. As you know, you can find me here. I'm going to be coming on more. I've been waiting to do this kind of channeling until I got really clear on the message, but the time is now, you guys. This is really happening. You can also find me on Instagram under Dr.Karin and my YouTube channel. I'm about to get polished up. I'm going to be putting all this on my YouTube channel as well, so you can find me there. I have a book on an ebook coming out, hopefully in about 2 weeks, on it's a guidebook to awakening. So in there I give you, I think, 12 different signs that you're waking up, and then I give you a list of things to do in the present now to help you have an easier, a smoother, it's a better word, path in your awakening, because it can be a little messy. All right, I love you guys so much. I'm sending you so much love and light. Remember, always drop into your heart, because that's where you're going to find the answers that are right for your highest good. I love you guys. Thanks for being here.